Hey everyone, it's Jen Gibson. I am going live to discuss the school board meeting for Berkeley County that was held last night. Alrighty, so we'll be getting started in just a second, and I'll check for comments and I'll answer whatever questions I can that folks have. So last night was the school board meeting, and tonight is still the deadline for registration for the pathway in the Berkeley County School District. So the major update was a change in the calendar. So the calendar, school now will begin on September 8th, and so that's in line with Charleston County. That's going to help a lot of teachers out. I know that have kids that live in Charleston County and teach in Berkeley County, and have kids in Charleston County School District. It's also giving the administrators a lot of time to kind of catch up and get some of these plans in place. They definitely indicated that they were feeling the stress of the time crunch. So school will begin on September 8th. That means that the semester will end. On the calendar it says January 28th, but there was a change made on the fly at the school board meeting to give kids and parents, teachers, the day before Thanksgiving off. So that should push the last day of the semester to January 29th. And then the end of school, the last day of school, is going to be June 17th for students. The move was really mostly due to the fact that the PPE that the school district has ordered needs time to come in. So they just really wouldn't have had the PPE that is so critical to keeping everyone safe in by the proposed start date. And so that was the major reason why, but it also really does help to accommodate the administration needs of having just more time. Unfortunately, there was no change in the registration deadline. So that means if you do not register in Berkeley County School District before tonight, then you are automatically going to go into the distance pathway, which basically means your child will be learning at home with a virtual setup. That is unfortunate. The start date gave us more time, but they have opted to keep it in place so that they would be able to continue to plan off of that firm data that they get with the registration. No additional information was really given about any of the plans last night. They just kind of reiterated that individual schools will be putting out their own guidance due to their unique physical locations and things like that. I have seen one video from a school put out a day in the life for a student video. I think we're going to continue to see more of those. They're really not due until mid-August, and so I think we're just going to see them trickling out, and I know a lot of these schools need as much time as they can. So something interesting that came out today, and I think we're going to continue to see little interesting things drip out like this. Today, the South Carolina Department of Education removed the restrictions for full-time student teachers to have a school employee present with them. And so really what that means is that I've had a lot of teachers asking questions about assistants being able to be in the classroom. Yeah, they're going to probably be allowed to be in the classroom, and having said that, they're going to be the adult in the room. They're going to be, I don't necessarily know that you'll have your assistants, because I think they're going to be in classrooms doing small group instructions. Very little clarification about that, really just a tweet from the South Carolina Department of Education. Many educators that I've spoken with have had concerns about this. So yeah, I mean, it just goes to show you that we are facing an unprecedented teacher shortage, and it's going to be all hands on deck to get those classrooms staffed with people. But so teachers need to understand that that's going to be happening, and parents need to understand that that's going to be happening. I'm glad that they are making plans to deal with the teacher shortage, but everybody needs to understand just how critical it's going to be. The superintendent of Berkeley County is no longer going to be able to answer any questions. He wants to focus all of his time on working with school principals to get the plans ready, and I completely understand that. So everything's going to go through the communications office. He's been a great resource, I know, for me, but at this point he has his marching orders from the school board, and so that's what he's going to go do. So if you have questions or concerns, I would recommend going through the communications office for the Berkeley County School District or through the school board. They are the ones that ultimately approve all of this and are responsible for what the plans look like. The superintendent certainly executes those, puts those together for them, but it's up to the school board to decide, what our plan is. I know that the mask policy, people have had a lot of questions about that. There has been no change in the mask policy. I do believe that they're trying to kind of beef it up. They are talking about a culture of mask wearing. I noticed that the superintendent last night was wearing a mask for the first time at the meeting, and many more of the school board members were wearing them, and the school board cabinet was, many more were wearing them. So that's great to see that they understand that leadership is going to help to dictate how masks are worn. It is still not mandatory. My gut is it's not going to be mandatory. They're going to encourage it, but it's just not going to be mandatory in Berkeley County. The speeches last night, two parents, actually more people spoke than have ever spoken that I've been to a meeting at recently. And two parents spoke, and then lots of teachers, and myself, and then lots of teachers spoke. They were moving, emotional calls to action. You can watch them. They're at about the 7:30 mark, about an hour into the video, the live stream that Berkeley County School District puts out. I would highly recommend if you're concerned about the teacher perspective and all of this, I would highly recommend that you watch it. I forget what it's called, but there's like a teacher kind of focus group for this part of the school district. It's made up of the teacher of the years for the different schools in the district. They also spoke, and they too really just expressed their concerns about going back. It's about safety, but I think it's also just about logistics. And so I think one of the reasons why we've heard so many teachers sounding the alarm, even those that have every intention of going back and feel comfortable going back, they understand that there is a limited amount of resources. Not all teachers can go back, and just how difficult it's going to be for kids to transition. And so they have a lot of concerns. And so the virtual until safe, that isn't just coming from I need to protect myself and my family, although that's an aspect of it. It's really coming from we're not ready to go back and do this in person and virtually at the same time. There are not enough resources to do it. The fact that we're still waiting on PPE to come in before we can even start school is a really good indicator of that. I know I still can't find Lysol wipes in the school, in the grocery store. So granted, they're going to have access to things that, on a larger scale, but we know that these supplies are limited. Every school district, every business is trying to get these. What are they going to do if it doesn't come in? Will they delay again? They didn't say. So that's frustrating. No change in the mask for the teachers. And so I personally have been getting a lot of notes from teachers. And I got to tell y'all, they are heartbreaking and overwhelming. I have teachers that have concerns about, really the only folks when they did the surveys, it's only if you as a teacher have a very specific need that you would be exempt. But there's parents there's teachers that are the primary caregivers for their parents. There are teachers that are the primary caregivers excuse me for just a second. Miss Charlie.
Sorry.
Okay, and that's how you work from home. So going back to my train of thought, the teachers, they're taking care of their parents. Some of them are the primary caregivers for elderly parents that have critical medical needs. And so they're going to have to make a decision if they're going to continue to be that caregiver, if they're going to continue to be able to see that parent, or if they need to kind of quarantine themselves away from their families in a way that they haven't had to do before. I got a note from a military wife. Her husband's in the Navy, and if she does get exposed, she will have to quarantine away from her husband because of the restrictions with the military. I've gotten notes from teachers that are expecting, and they're just really worried about how that's going to work, being pregnant and the risk factors for that. I have talked to teachers that are trying to get pregnant, and having been in that situation where it wasn't as easy and I had to have some medical interventions, I'm really sympathetic with that situation, that it's tricky. so many. There was a teacher that reached out. Her husband's having chemo right now, and so that's just tough. And so those teachers are being put into a position where they are going to return or resign, and that's not ideal. So, one of my concerns is how are we going to manage the teacher shortage? We were down teachers going into this, and this is not going to help that situation. And the teachers that leave are probably not going to come back. The teachers that retire are going to be retired, and we're not going to be able to get those teachers back in the classroom. The fact that we're already starting to see changes from school districts with setting up for subs, transitioning students, and teaching students into the primary classroom instructor. That's tough, y'all, and we are going to be feeling the effects of that for a long time, because I'm hoping by the end of this year that perhaps as a community we have this a little bit better under control. If not, I know vaccines and medications, that all those things are trending, so I'm optimistic about that. But this teacher shortage is going to continue to stay with us. Teachers were really disappointed in the investment that the state has been making in them for a while. We saw unprecedented numbers show up in Columbia on the State House steps. They were not happy going into this for the most part. Many of them recognized that more resources needed to be dedicated to teachers and to schools and just to education in general in South Carolina. This is not going to help that situation and make them feel like that they are valued professionals. That's something we really need to be aware of. I am a big fan of thinking long term. I think one of the biggest problems in South Carolina is that we are very reactive, that we really don't start getting involved and talking about something until the road is falling apart. The bridge's cable is so broken it's no longer safe to go across it. We're facing unprecedented teacher shortages, so maybe now is the time to think about getting a raise. These are all ways that we've reacted in the past. If I ever ran my businesses like that, they would have gone down pretty darn quickly. You have got to be forward thinking. You have got to anticipate problems. You need to be flexible because you're going to have to change, but there are things we know that are going to happen. So, this is one of those things where we really need to be smart about this and thinking about it from the long term. We can talk all day long about how teachers, should be all about the kids and need to get back in the classroom, and that other essential personnel are going in. I hear some valid points in all of that. Having said that, teachers are a different category of professionals. It is a different situation. Schools are not like grocery stores. They're not like hospitals. They're not like gas stations. And teachers have unique qualifications and unique needs. And kids present their own special challenges in these learning situations. I don't think it's fair to compare them. So the South Carolina teachers are calling for virtual until safe. Even those that are prepared to go back in the classroom right now are still standing in solidarity of virtual until safe, the vast majority of them. That's kind of their stance. They have very good reasons for it, and so I want to kind of lift that message up and put that out there, that folks need to understand that the choice that you have for you and your family, these teachers do not have that choice. I think that it's been put out there that they do, and that I've heard lots of comments from the administration that they're going to be making exceptions and they're going to work with everyone. That's not really the case. What I'm getting back from those that have already discussed it is there's very much a culture of resign or return going on. Individual principals will be evaluating it every single teacher. They're going to work through it with them and the human resources with Berkeley County. So for all you teachers out there, you are going to get a chance on a one-on-one situation to kind of present your case. We'll see how that goes. Berkeley County, their human resources department does not have a great track record. I'm just going to be real upfront about that. So I have concerns about it. And just even if they have the best of intentions and just absolutely want to want to accommodate every single request to be teach virtually from their home that they want to, you're not going to have enough teachers in the classroom. And so there's just a logistics issue here. So the biggest thing I want to talk about that I find really compelling is, let's talk about these parents that are working, need to stay at work, need to go back to work. I am really sympathetic to that. I am a working mom. I'm very fortunate that we're able to kind of make it work. My work has allowed us all to work from home because we can, and so I can still do my job from my house. And I have a boss in an organization that is allowing that to happen. So I get it. That's a very lucky situation for me and for my family. My husband's kind of in the exact same situation. I know not everyone has that. My biggest concern is, and once again, I'm trying to be very forward thinking about this, is I am hearing from so many teachers and those administrators on lower levels that there is no way that this is going to work. That, I mean, if they follow the procedures they've put out there with the quarantines and the testing requirements that they are, you are going to have lots of situations where parents are going to be called to come and get their kids, and that they're not going to be back in the classroom for a couple of weeks. It is a lot easier, I know, to make arrangements with your work ahead of time. This is just a logistics planning thing that it is a lot easier to do it with some advanced noting and planning and preparation than in an emergency situation. If I had confidence that this would be rare and there wouldn't be that many people that would have to be quarantined, that there weren't going to be that many people coming in that are positive, then I don't think this would be as much of an issue, and I would be pushing harder to create this face-to-face situation where students have a safe place to be during the day. My biggest fear is that we're going to have what happened in spring. All of a sudden, things are going to get real rough, real quick, and we are going to feel it necessary to close schools, and we're going to be right back. Teachers are going to be right back where they were, having to teach virtually with no resources, no training, and no plan. You don't just pull this stuff out the morning of. It does require some advanced preparation, some advanced training. There is time to get some teachers some additional training so that they are more equipped to teach virtually. So that's kind of my concern, and why I would really like for us to look at staying virtual a little bit more in the beginning, so that when we're ready to go back face to face, we can actually stay in the classroom face to face. So my thought is I would much rather stay virtual a little bit longer in the front. Everybody knows what we're getting into. We all work together as a community to make this happen. If governments need to step in, if the governor needs to step in and work with businesses, we can do this as a community. I know that we can if we're committed to it. And then we can more quickly get this under control and get everyone back in classrooms safely and provide the best quality education that we can. I know that if we get into a situation where all of a sudden it's just thrown into chaos, because now we are going back and forth between students in classrooms, students learning virtually, students needing to be face-to-face, people quarantining. We're not prepared for that yet. We're not even prepared for what we think we're going to have. From what I understand, they're going to basically be doing this pen to paper, assigning teachers and students to classroom. It's a logistics nightmare. And so, there's 37,000 students coming back. And so, are we ready for this? Are we ready to do it in a way that it's going to be a good education, a good learning environment for our kids? And are we going to be able to, accommodate the teachers' needs? And I have serious concerns that, that's going to be a very difficult thing to do. Please excuse my phone ringing. So that's kind of it. Let me check the comments really quick and see if there's any questions specifically. There is the concern. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Safety is the main concern. A teacher, checking on her 92-year-old mother, I get that. And yes, thank you to all the teachers that are saying thank you. It is my honor and my pleasure to be able to get your point of view across. I want folks to keep in mind that, when these teachers go and talk to the board, they are, that's their boss, and they are being really brave when they talk about it. And there's a lot of teachers that are afraid to come forward. I'm getting a lot of folks that reach out that say, I really want this to get out there, but I'm really worried that I can't say it and, have the same relationship that, with the administration in the school district. And so I'm very sympathetic to that. Principals, yes, principals, they are doing an amazing job. Principals are doing their best to take care of their teachers, implement the plans that the school district has given them. My college roommate is is a principal, and we spoke yesterday, and I mean, they are just working so hard. I know that they are just so passionate about students and teachers, and that they are doing everything they can. So be nice to your principals. I know that it's tough. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, there's a teacher that's not going to be able to see her grandkids if she has to go back. And so the medical leave, family leave for teachers is a question. So there's a federal law that they're going to be protected up through December, that they get like one leave for quarantine. Other than that, they're going to have to use their own leave for sick time, and for if their children are sick or quarantined. And so the leave that they've accrued, they're going to have to use that. And so that is something that they earned that before. You build that leave up, and it's not just for sick. It's for if you're gonna have a baby and you want to have maternity leave, where you're actually going to be able to buy your food. You can plan for that and save up for it. And so same thing with time off for vacation. The way that it's set up with the district is you earn it. It's a delayed compensation for your work previously, and now they're asking them to be in a situation where they're going to have to use that leave for COVID. And so I understand the frustration. If someone is out because of quarantine or because they're sick, they shouldn't have to use their leave time for it. This is not your average. This is not the run-of-the-mill being sick and things. A good question is, will Berkeley County School District abide by Accelerate Ed plans for high, middle, and low case areas? I don't think so. Berkeley County School District has really made no mention of the high, middle, low case count, and if that will have any impact on their opening plans. They have been very clear all along. The traditional pathway, or the face-to-face option model, is in play, that really nothing is going to stop it, that they have plans in place to quarantine, to isolate, to take temperatures. There are precautions in place, but they will not be limiting the number of students coming in. So if the number of students, it's not practical to put the desks 6 feet apart, it's not practical to social distance, then that's not going to happen. It's the way that the plan is written, and it's very clear that they will be doing all these things if practical. And so if there are too many students and not enough teachers, or just too many students and too many teachers for the space, they're going to do the best that they can. So I think people just need to understand that. I'm sympathetic that they're doing what they can with what they've got, but at some point we just have to say, is that enough? Is that safe? So short answer is no. I don't think they're going to use the high, middle, low classification that DHEC is using and publishing weekly to make any decisions about whether or not teachers and students will be in the classroom. If you choose the traditional pathway, you will be, going to school, and as of now, there is no trigger that would prevent them from going, that would push everybody to virtual. By the start of school, they do have to have that plan according to the Department of Education. They do not have that contingency plan yet, to my knowledge. It definitely hasn't been released publicly. And so that's something they're going to have to do. So, and yes, Derek, I will call you. So I think that's it, and I am happy to answer any questions. I'm getting questions. They're all coming in through lots of different places, through Facebook messages, Messenger, personal, work, campaign stuff. So I will do my best to get to all of them as quickly as I can. I think probably the most efficient way to get a question to me is probably going to be through my email, which is jen@jenforsc.com. JEN@JENFORSC.com. It's kind of always open right in front of me. Facebook is not the most user-friendly with message stuff. So if you have asked me a question, either in comments, and I mean, there's like hundreds of notifications, so I miss them. So if you've asked a question that I haven't answered yet, or I told you I'd get back to you, please just touch base with me again. I want to answer your question. I'm doing my best to keep up. So yeah, don't be afraid to bug me, because sometimes I just need to see it. So that's it. Thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Do not forget, if you are a parent, that you need to make a decision. If you don't register, it is okay. Your child will automatically be placed in the distance blended pathway. So that's it. I will see y'all soon. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 12:30. I will be joined by two other really awesome people running for the State House, and we're going to talk about what State House representatives do. We do a lot. We do more than you think we do, and we matter probably as much as your federal, congressional, and Senate representatives. So we're going to talk about just how important your State House reps are. So I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.